Happy Monday morning, October 4th. It is about 9:30 in the morning, guys, and I am going to pull some leads. I'm going to use batch leads today. My team has been out of leads for a few days, and we are going to use batch leads to pull these leads today. On top of that, we're going to push those to a campaign and batch leads to market via SMS. And then we are going to export these leads and push these leads to a campaign over in the batch dialer. Whenever we pull our leads, we like to skip trace them in batch leads because they have the best skip tracing and they have match savings, which means that they're not going to charge me to skip trace a lead that I already own, that's already in my system. And then again, we're going to get those into batch dialer as well. So let's jump right on in, guys. Here is batch leads. And I went over here on the left side to the list search area. If you guys are not using batch leads, check out the link in the description, and that will give you guys access to a 7-day free trial. And you can actually go pull 5,000 property records for free in that free trial. 5,000 property records. It's crazy. All right, so I'm out of St. Louis, Missouri, and I am going to find myself some leads in my market. So let's go up here and let's type in St. Louis Mo. Let's clear it. Where is it at? Here it is. Let's go ahead and zoom in. Nope, I don't know why it keeps doing that. If you click on it, it will take you to a lead. So you got to be extra careful in here. Okay. So what I want to do, Mike, where do we want leads at? You want me to get some West County leads for you, or what do you think?
Way out there. Go for it.
You want to go way out there? All right,
Let's go
cool.
out there.
I'm going to do a boundary drawing then, and you're out of Lake St. Louis, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's just do, what do you think?
Yeah.
Let's see if that works. Sometimes it doesn't because it could be too big, but it looked like it did. There's 150,000 property records found in that little square that I just drew. Our office, where I'm recording this video at, is right about here. Or no, it's right here. And Mike lives right here. I live somewhere over in this vicinity right here. This is going to be a great area for rental properties. It's going to be a great area for fix and flip properties. And it's going to be a great area for the wholesale deals, the ones that we don't necessarily want to do and own ourselves. All right. So now that I've just used the boundary features over here on batch leads to find a good area for leads, there's 150,000 found. Next, what I want to do is I want to go in and I want to filter these leads. All right. So what I want to do is, first and foremost, I want to go to value and equity information here. And let's go ahead and move this over to this corner so you guys can see. My value and equity, I like the equity percent. And typically, I don't really want to find anything that's got less than 30% equity. Also, I want to go to my MLS status and see where it says on market. I want that to go to no. I do not want to find and market to properties that are on the MLS. All right, so I want my on market to be no. Now notice over here on the right side, you're going to see a legend. All of these items that I'm essentially going to be adding will be added here. So my occupancy status, I'm going to leave that alone on this particular search. Now if I click apply, you'll notice 150,000 plus records is going to change. Now it's down to 110,000 records right up there. Okay. So I'm going to keep going though. So I want my property characteristics. I want my square footage to be a minimum of 750 feet. And the bedrooms, I want to have, I'm not even going to put a minimum. Well, let's do 2, actually. I don't really want 1 bedrooms. They're really not that great. So 2 bedrooms is better. 750 square foot at a minimum. We can go ahead and apply this, and that's going to take my 110,000 results down to 107,000. So we're not really making a whole lot of progress on making this smaller, but that's okay. So far we have greater than or equal to 2 bedrooms, greater than or equal to 750 square foot, off market, not listed on the MLS, with estimated equity of 30%. Now, in terms of properties, right, I don't really want exempt or vacant land or agriculture or industrial. I'm just going to click on residential for today in terms of classifications. And then my property types, I'm going to do general, single family. I don't really want condos. We could do home. Let's see here. Residence, that's agricultural. So really what I'm looking for is general, single family, and maybe we have to scroll down here a little to get to multis. There's garden, there's income, residential income, multifamily. I want the multis, I want the dues, I want the tries, I want the quads, and I really want the bigger units over 5 as well. Garden apartment or court apartment, sure. Actually, I don't really want apartment. Well, yeah, I want to buy those apartments, right? High rise, I'm going to leave that out. Multifamily dwelling, apartments, garage. So that's about it. So there's 10 of these that I've actually selected. And let's go ahead and hit apply and see what that does to the number. So we went from 107 and change down to 93,000. And if I make this a little bit wider, it might be a little easier to see. But there's still quite a lot of properties on here. So what I want to do now is I want to go in here to ownership info. Guys, I'm not typically looking for properties that were just recently purchased. Recently purchased properties, the amount of motivation that a seller has is going to typically be very, very low. 0%, 1%, very, very low. If somebody just bought a property, why would they turn around and be motivated to sell that property right away? They wouldn't be. It's going to be very, very rare. So we're going to be looking for properties that have been owned for a decent amount of time. So let's just play with this for a minute. So it says owner type, and you can actually select company owned or individual. I don't really care because they actually skip trace both, right? So I don't really need to necessarily go in and mess with that today. Now, years of ownership. Let's just take this to 10. Let's go ahead and click apply, and let's see what happens to the results. So you have 93,000. That went down to 33,880 leads. That's good. That really cut the list down. And today I'm looking for somewhere between 10 and 20,000 leads. I'm going to pull a ton today. I'm going to need to add in a little bit more criteria in order to get this to really where I want it to be, right? So let's keep playing with this. And again, if you guys are not using batch leads, highly suggest you take a look and check it out. They offer 7-day free trials. On top of that, they give you a 5,000 free property records to pull during that trial. So use code DAVE or click the link below this video and go get yourself a free trial. All right, so let's review our criteria or our legend over here. So we're looking for residential properties and property type, general, single, residential income for multis, duplex, triplex, quadplex, apartment houses with 5+ units, garden apartments or court apartments, 5+ units, multifamily dwellings, and then of course apartments, which is great. 2+ bedrooms, 750 square feet or more. Off market, years of ownership is 10, estimated equity is 30. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to just change my estimated equity. I'm going to put that up to 40%. All right. And also on my ownership info, I'm going to take that from 10 years to 15 years. Now let's see what happens. 10% more equity, 5 more years. 33,000 brought me down to 20,000 737, which is good. Now, under the property characteristics, I really don't even understand what general is. So I'm just going to uncheck that one. Everything else I kind of understand just because I want to see how many of these leads are under that classification of general. So let's hit apply. We're going to go from 20,737 to 20,737. Nothing actually changed. So general didn't do a whole lot for me, which is good. From here, I am just going to double check a couple other things. So my occupancy status is no preference. Now, if I wanted to do absentee owned, I could do absentee in-state. I could do absentee out-of-state. So that's both. And let's just see what that does. That's going to probably take me down below 3,000 or 4,000. Boom, 1,400 leads. So I'm not going to do that today because I'm really looking to add some leads to the system so my team can hit these SMS and cold calling hard the next week or two, right? Or even longer. Vacancy status. If I wanted to do, property was vacant and click apply, that's going to take me down to 73 leads in that area. So I'm going to put these both at no preference. However, guys, quick lesson. If you are new, all right, and you haven't already hit your vacant list or your absentee list, start there. All right. We pull the vacants and the absentees usually every 4 to 6 weeks. We are constantly pulling these lists over and over and over. Reason being is of the 700 to 800 transactions that I've done over the last, 6-7 years, 80% of these properties have been vacant. So vacants are going to be your bread and butter. Now, I'm not pulling vacants today because I just pulled vacants like a week or two ago. I'm constantly pulling vacants over and over again. So again, if you are new, go pull your vacants, pull your absentee owned properties. These are going to be the bread and butter. Pros and cons, right? Pros, there's going to be a lot of good deals in there. The cons are a lot of people are marketing to those lists, right? Those are typically your best lists. So you need to be very, very persistent with these leads, right? You got to go pull them every 4 to 6 weeks, and you got to hit them over and over and over again. I recently just pulled them, so I'm not going to mess with them today. All right, let's dive back in. Try to keep this video around 20 minutes. We'll see how that goes. So property characteristics, we noticed 750, 2-bed. I don't really care about year built, number of units, lot size doesn't really matter. Bathrooms doesn't really matter. I mean, typically you're going to have a minimum of 1. Stories I don't care about. And if you really wanted to really dive in, you could do some features, right? You could even search by school district. Not too worried about that. Now notice I do have this on market as no, which is equivalent to off market, right? You can also search by days on market on here. That's really, really cool. I think that's actually a new feature. But let's say I wanted to do on market yes. I could say show me all the properties that have been on market for 60 days or 90 days or 120 days or maybe even a year, right? To see if we can't find some people that are motivated. That's a whole different list, but a really, really cool option. Today, I'm going to be going with the off market. You can also change the different MLS statuses or listed below market price, or even go into the listing price and put them in or a max. So off market is good on the MLS status. Pre-foreclosures and auctions, we don't really do a whole lot of pre-foreclosures and auctions. We have a buddy who does a ton of them, and we just partner with him on deals, right? So it doesn't make sense for me to market to the properties that one of my buddies that I partner with all the time is doing. I'm going to let him handle that. Now, ownership information, we did do a 15-year minimum of the ownership information. I don't have a last sale date or a last sale price. But now that I think about it, the last sale price, anything under, let's say, $20,000 probably isn't going to be worth my time. So let's see what that does to my list. 20,000 takes me down to 19. Took 500 to 1,000 off. We can actually take that up just a little bit. Let's take it to 30,000. Let's see what that does. That's going to put me, took a couple off. Not a ton, but that's all right. So last sale price, cool. We can leave that on there. Lien, bankruptcy, and divorce. Again, these are really more specific niche lists. And for sake of today, I'm just trying to pull a lot of leads that are going to be somewhat qualified, right? So lien, bankruptcy, and divorce I'm not going to mess with, but there could be some good stuff in there. Valuation and equity. I obviously changed it from 30 to 40% already, but if I wanted to do loan to value or estimated equity in dollars versus percent, I could. I could even do estimated value, right? And I don't really want to put a min necessarily or a max on these. Reason being is I did put a minimum on the ownership info right here with the last sale price. And it took a little bit off the list, but not a ton. So again, I'm going to leave those alone. You could do assessed land if you really wanted to. There's a lot of different options in there. Next is your mortgage info. Number of mortgages, first loan, percentages, open mortgage remaining balance. Is it free and clear? So we have any, just because I'm curious, let's put free and clear on yes and see what happens to the lead. So 19,000 is going to change to 4,800. Wow, that's crazy that there's that many properties that are free and clear. But today, since we already have a 40% equity mix, as you can see right here, I'm going to go back to my mortgage info and I'm going to put that back to any. Let's go ahead and apply that before we forget. Takes me back to about 19,000 leads, which is great. Now, if I was looking for cash buyers, I could do that as well. I'm not. I'm looking for motivated sellers. And then the last thing in here is your demographics, right? So if I really wanted to zero this in and dial this in, right, and just find particular households with a certain number of people or a length of residence or even a net worth. Guys, look at all these options they put in here. Are they a millionaire? Yes or no? Do they live in, is it upscale living? Are they married? Are they single? Have they recently been divorced? Is there children living in the home? New parent, single parent? Are they a smoker? Do they own pets? Holy cow. Religious affiliations. They are adding all kinds of crazy stuff in here. But at the end of the day, 19,487 leads is going to keep my team busy for quite some time. Now, before I go ahead and save this list, I want to just review, guys. My occupancy status is set to any. My classification is going to be residential real estate. Now, this also is going to include small commercial, but it's going to be residential in the fact that I'm not looking for strip malls, right? I'm looking for places where people can live because that's what the kind of investing I like to do. So the property type, single family, residential income, multifamily, which includes duplex, triplex, quadruplex, and then a couple different variations of apartment buildings, 2+ bedrooms, 2 or more, square footage of 750 or more, and then off-market, guys. Off-market is really one of the main ones, as well as the estimated equity. And in this case, I have greater than or equal to 40%. And then the last sale price was $30,000. And then again, the time, years of ownership, is 15 or greater years. So if somebody bought a property, for $18,000, the last sale price, it's taking that off. I don't want to deal with those little junkers. So let's just go ahead and double check. We're going to apply these leads, and it gives me 19,487 leads. And that's what I want. That's exactly what I want. So from here, to save this search, I am going to click select, and I'm going to click select all. And you're going to notice that all 19,487 of these are selected, and then I'm going to click add. Now from here, I can actually save the properties or I can save the list. So I can select an existing list, which I have a ton of leads in my existing list. As you can see, I'm actually going to create a new list, all right? And I'm going to call this, Mike, what should I name this list, brother?
St. Charles County.
That's about right. It's a little bit of overlap in there because we went over into Maryland Heights, but whatever. It's basically that vicinity. So we're going to do ish. I always like that word, ish. So St. Charles County, we're going to do high equity plus 15 years plus, what else did I add in there? High equity 15 years plus 40% equity. So these are just abbreviations. High equity 15 years, 40%, right? You can do anything you want in the list name. I like to basically just do a description of what we have in there. Now, this is telling me that I can't use certain high equity plus 15 years plus 40%. Let's see here. Select existing tags, and we'll add a new tag, and we'll call this high equity plus 15 years for the tag. And it says you are about to save 19,000 and change properties to your list. You have 10,000 available property records based on your monthly allowance. The overage is going to be 5 cents a record. It's going to cost $474. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to either upgrade or we're going to cut this in half. So let me do this. Let me upgrade this real quick, guys. Give me 1 second here. And we're going to upgrade our plan to get more leads. So hang in there with me. And I'm not going to share my screen because I'm going to have credit card information up here. So here we go. All right, lists. We want to do 25,000 leads a month. It's going to go from $59 to $119. So it's going to save me a whole lot more. Confirm and pay. It's going to be a whole lot less than the $430 that I would have spent. And now I have 25,000 leads a month. So if I go back to my batch leads and I share my screen with you guys and I refresh just to make sure that it didn't do it. No. I have to start over. That's all right. We're going to go fast this time around. And the numbers are going to be a little different because I'm not going to get the exact same size. All right, I like to do the map because then I can see it a lot better. We're going to do the boundary. We're going to do this. And we're basically going to go right about there. That's good. We'll click search. And then we're going to go and we're going to do this on super speed this time. So occupancy doesn't matter. We want residential, single, duplex, triplex, quadplex, apartment house, garden. I don't really care for high rise. Apartments. So there's 7 of those. MLS status is set to no. Pre-foreclosure, I don't care about. Ownership info, years of ownership, I had it at 15 with last sale price at 30,000. Not 300, but 30. Looks good. Value and equity, I had my estimated equity at 40%. Let's just go ahead and apply so we don't lose any of these a second time around. And that's going to take me from 142 down to 18. And let's see here. Demographics we didn't touch. Cash buyers we didn't touch. Mortgage info we didn't touch. Value and equity we had at 40%. We didn't touch that. Ownership info we did 15 and 30,000. So we're right back to where we essentially were. Off market, last sale price, estimated equity, 15 years, residential, and I maybe missed 1 or 2 of these property characters. Oh, you know what else I didn't do? I didn't do a 2-bedroom minimum and a 750 square foot. So I think we're basically back. And the box that I drew might have been a little smaller than the first time around. And I basically ended at about 19,000 leads last time. Right now I'm at 18,666. So a little bit smaller box than the last time around, but at the end of the day, this is the same number of leads essentially that I had. A little bit less, but pretty damn close. All right, so that's it. So we're going to apply these. We're going to close this down. I'm going to start all over on this process. So select all, click add, and I want to create a new list. And we're going to call this St. Charles County-ish. And this was high equity plus 15 years plus 40% equity. We're going to create a new tag, and we're going to call this high equity plus 15 years. And you are about to save 18,666 properties to your address list. Properties can be imported using your current plan. I just updated in the background. Otherwise, it was going to charge me $400, but I essentially went in on my billing and I upgraded my list from $59 a month to $119. And you can see extra per lead was 5 cents. But just for upgrading, I mean, it's basically double, it's, an extra $60, but I can get 15,000 more leads, right? So again, with this free trial that you guys can get by using code DAVE, D-A-V-E, or by clicking the link below, you get 5,000 for free. It's included. So go check that out, guys. Highly recommend it. This is such a great software. All right, so St. Charles County, high equity, 15 years, 40%. I created a new tag. We're going to go ahead and we're going to save all of these leads. So 18,666 properties in St. Charles County were actually added, and I'll get a notification once this is complete. And usually this will take anywhere from 1 to maybe 4 or 5 minutes. Depends on how many leads you add. If you add, 1,000 leads or 1,200 leads, it'll happen typically in, 30, 40, 50 seconds. If you go in and you add 20,000 leads, it may take 3 or 4 minutes. So I'm not going to sit here and bore you guys with this. But what I am going to do with these leads once they all compile into my properties area is I'm going to push them over to skip trace. And once I skip trace these leads, I'm going to create a campaign over here in batch leads. So let's go back real quick before we wrap up this video. And over here in batch leads, you can see that we have a campaigns area. So I'm going to create an SMS campaign. All right, and we're going to create a new campaign. And this campaign will be what these skip trace leads get pushed to. I will also go over here into batch dialer. This is my calling software. And I am going to add these in under contacts and list, and I'll import the list. And then I'll go up here into campaigns, and I will use a campaign to cold call these leads. So I'm going to simultaneously be texting these leads as well as I am simultaneously going to be cold calling these leads. Now, I am not selling anything. All right, I am not providing a service. I'm not providing a product. I am literally reaching out to motivated sellers or sellers that will have presumed motivation. And I will ask them if they have interest in selling their property. And if they do have interest in selling their property, then I'm going to make them an offer. Or I'm going to set an appointment to go out and talk with them and see if they are truly motivated or not. All right. And that's really all it comes down to, guys. So I pulled leads today using batch leads. I highly recommend you guys check it out. They have a 7-day free trial. And with that, you can go pull up to 5,000 property records, just like I did, for free, included in that 7-day free trial. So use code DAVE or click the link below this video to get access to that free trial. You will not regret it. I'm going to go ahead and skip trace these and push these out to my team next. But I just wanted to jump on. Haven't done a live stream in a couple weeks. Been really busy, and I just wanted to get back in the groove, get back in the swing of things. I wanted to provide some value to you all. So if you are looking for motivated seller leads, do exactly like I did in this video. And don't forget, start with your vacants, start with your absentee owned properties. That's going to be your best bet out the gate. All right, guys, signing off. Talk to you soon.